All right, I'm gonna hit the record button. You shut up.
Welcome to the weekly episode of the Freelancer Codex podcast. Your host, Steven, and co-hosts Mike, Devon, and JD are all set. Join us and tweet your questions at Freelancer Codex. Find us on Facebook at Freelancer Codex, or send emails to freelancercodex@gmail.com. Strap into your javelins, and let's drop in.
Welcome, freelancers, to episode 66 of the Freelancer Codex podcast, the longest-running Anthem podcast on the internet. I'm your host, Steve, along with my co-hosts, Mike, Devon, and JD, and today with us, a very special guest, Lupo2therescue. Lupo, how do you introduce yourself when people say
usually just exactly like that. Lupo2therescue. Usually I have to say the number 2 because people like real words and everything, but yeah. I mean, Lupo's my actual last name, so I just go by Lupo all the time. So.
Oh, Lupo's your last name?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
See, I didn't know this. This is all news to me.
No, it's not like a nickname or anything like that. Like, it's just my real name.
Nice.
Oh, all right. Very cool. And
My
Lupo,
last
you
name
are
is Codex.
I guess I'm looking for the joke.
Just saying, it's just Codex. My last name is Codex.
Oh, for some reason I thought you said Kodak, and I was like, Kodak? Like, why would his last name be Kodak? That doesn't make any sense to me. Guys, this is the longest-running Anthem. Somehow this is the longest-running Anthem podcast on the internet with stuff like this happening. So, Lupo, with you being...
Podcast. This is the longest Anthem podcast.
Go ahead. Get it out of your system.
Get it out of your system.
Go ahead. Lupo, as our guest, please tell us, what do you do? I mean, you are a Mixer streamer. What else do you do?
Yeah, so I'm a Mixer content creator, broadcaster. I stream 5 days a week, part-time, because I do the work thing and live real life and everything like that. I'd love to make video games a career. I mean, you just gotta be honest with yourself sometimes. I came from a music background, actually, and that's what the transition from music to video game broadcaster kind of fit as an adult, so that's where I am now.
Nice.
Very cool. Well, we're glad to have you on. Your Enter the Javelin Anthem show happens every Monday at what time?
9 Eastern. Oh, I'm sorry, 8 Eastern. 8 Eastern. It used to be 9.
At 8 Eastern. So very cool. I hope everyone is able to catch you. Mixer at Lupo2therescue on Mixer. It's a great show. It's a great opportunity to talk to a lot of people. Every time I've been able to tune in, you have a great community interaction. Seems like you've got a really nice community built around you that follows you. Every time I'm in there, it seems like there's new people in there asking questions about Anthem. And the interesting thing is, for a lot of us, we've spent the last year and a half, 2 years talking about Anthem, and it seems like, no, we know all this stuff. How could anyone possibly not know that there's 4 Javelins or it's coming out on PlayStation? But it seems like every time I'm in your chat, there's always someone new saying, hey, what is this game? So it's kind of a good opportunity to, tell people what Anthem actually is.
And I mean, the interesting thing about it is that it's often my regulars, like people that are there on other days. I play a lot of Destiny and Warframe and games like that. And those are the people that come for those particular streams. So if they see, I'm not doing anything on a Monday, the beauty of Mixer is that if someone friends you on Xbox, they get an automatic notification that you're going live on Mixer. So anytime someone just playing their Xbox, they'll get a notification that I'm going live. So if they're not doing something, they'll just say, hey, he's streaming, let's see what's going on. And then all of a sudden, like, that was the thing, though, is that I had to change my directory to Anthem. Once I did that, it was like a whole slew of new people started showing up. So it definitely, it's directing things in the right way to get the extra foot traffic in there sometimes. But it's been an interesting thing to see, like, normal people not realizing what this is, like people that I talk to on a regular basis. And, like you said, people still don't know this information.
Right. So when Anthem goes live, is your plan to go full 100% Anthem content all the time, or are you still going to mix in Warframe, Destiny, all those other games that you're playing?
I think I'd be shooting myself in the foot if I went 100%, because I don't think there's going to be enough content all the time to be doing that. And games like Division, Destiny, Warframe, you see that thing every single day. We as content creators, are going to consume the content that much faster, and there's only so much content to be consumed, so that you can't put all your eggs in one basket. Like, I'll be playing on 2 platforms, But still, I don't think there's going to be enough to say 5 days a week, 4 hours of stream. So that's 20 hours a week on top of the game. The time I'm not going to be on stream playing. I just don't think it's going to have enough time to do that, to warrant that. But I would love to be happily surprised.
Right.
Yeah, and I think, as a content creator, especially this year, it seems like there have been, amazing games that have come out this year, that it seems like there's always something to pull from, new games that people want to watch be played.
Yeah.
And it seems like next year is going to be the same thing. It seems like there's a lot of great games, a lot of live service games that are coming out that you guys are going to be able to stream, keep people interested. Because really, I mean, you're right. There's a lot of people that, play games like Fortnite solely. And I guess there's a market for that because Fortnite's the biggest game in the world and there's a lot of 14-year-olds out there. I'm not saying only 14-year-olds like Fortnite. That's not what I'm saying. Save the emails. But, variety is the king of all. I don't know. There's some saying there. So. Very cool, Lupo. We're glad to have you here on episode 66. I'm sure there is. We'll find it later. So, JD, question for you. How many days till launch? Off the top of your head.
Off the top of my head?
Off the top of your head, how many days till launch? Usually I just throw out these numbers for you guys, but I want to hear from you. How many days till launch?
Well, the launch of what? Are we talking like just regular
Let's
launch?
go full
Let's go with Anthem.
retail launch of Anthem, the game. How about the Division 2? How many more days till Division 2 launches?
That's March or...
They're making another one?
I'll help you out. It's 64 days until the launch of Anthem. That means there's only 50.
That's way too many days for me.
That's
right?
Well, don't you worry, Devon, because in 57 days, if you have Origin Access Premier on the personal computing system, you'll be able to play 1 week early.
Oh, yeah.
If you have EA Access on the Xbox or the PC, you'll get 10 hours early. You can start that on the, the 15th of February. Yep. So if you get the 10 hours, I think you can start it, on the 15th, but then you burn through your 10 hours. Would you want to use your 10 hours before the game gets released on the 22nd, just so you can continue playing? Or do you burn it on the 15th, play for 10 hours, get addicted, go into withdrawals for the next 6 days, and then get to play it again? Seems like that'd be kind of a hard way to do that.
You've thought this through.
I don't have that issue since I have Origin Access Premier, so...
It's true.
Yeah. And
then, Mike, there's only 43 days until the demo gets released on February 1st, and
Public
everyone
demo.
gets access to this demo. Everyone and their dog. If you have a dog that wants to play, you can probably play Anthem, which is fine. It just has to sign the EULA, and your dog has to understand that. But then, if you pre-order the game, you get access to the demo 36 days from now. That's pretty
VIP
soon.
demo.
I mean, we are so close. We are almost like less than a month away from being able to play this game we've been talking about for the longest time. I can't believe it. It's crazy. So that's exciting.
That is a close amount of time. I mean, just think, so like, when we talked to John, he's like, yeah, they're going gold. What do you say, next month?
It said early next month.
Yeah.
That's like demo time. Are
Yeah,
you
so...
gonna, go gold and then launch the demo?
Yeah,
Maybe
well, I'm sure they have...
different.
Like, to me, it sounds like they have, like, a set of people that are split off that are just working on this demo, that's content locked, feature locked. There's only so much they're going to give to you, even though there's 3 days to play it, unlimited amount of time, I don't know. Right? So, I mean, that's the hard thing when you have to split your team to doing that. Anytime they have to make something separate, they have to take people away from working on the actual game. So.
Right. And so, quick dumb question. So the demo, it's unlimited access. Is that what I'm hearing? Unlimited access for 3 days to the demo for whatever content that they're going to give us.
I'm guessing they haven't specified, but I think that would be really weird if they had, time limits per day. Like if they had play sessions for the demo.
That would be weird. But my question is, how much time are you guys going to actually spend in the demo? If you have 3 days, how much time are you spending in this thing?
3 days.
So you're gonna go full 3 days, 72 hours playing the demo, and just the whole time. You're not worried about getting burned out at all, or just kind of being like, oh yeah, I played this game for 72 hours straight on the demo. Now when the full game actually gets released, you're just kind of like, oh, I kind of got my fill of this. You're not worried about that? Because I know for sure, Mike, that's exactly what you did when the Destiny demo came out.
Well, so my history. My therapist said.
Oh, good. A history
My therapist
lesson.
said talking about this was good, and so I got pretty into Destiny. I mean, I slept in my hunter outfit.
Pretty into Destiny.
I was building sparrows in the backyard. I had all kinds of stuff I was doing, right? So I was pretty heavily addicted, I guess. I put a lot of hours into Destiny, so I don't feel like I'm gonna get burnt out on Anthem. From the stream today, just seeing the Stronghold, I'm like, yeah, this is gonna be awesome.
But we don't know if you're gonna have access to that in the demo. It is the thing, right?
Yeah, they haven't specified what we have access to.
Right.
So.
Lupo, are you worried about getting burnt out on this thing?
3 days? No, not even close. I'm in the same boat as Mike. Like the Destiny beta, I played so much that the second I finished, I was like, what am I gonna do for 2 weeks until the game actually launches? You're literally looking for things to do with yourself because you are hooked on that feeling. It's great and terrible at the same exact time.
Yep.
That's really, for me, that's the biggest problem. It's like, okay, well, we can play the VIP demo for 3 days, and then we have, a couple days to wait till the open demo. And it's going to be the same demo, so we're going to play it again. But then it's like, all right, now I have to wait again. I just have to keep waiting.
Well,
right.
but isn't that the point of a game like this? Is to master that curve? I mean, there's obviously a curve.
Yeah.
You got better at Destiny by doing the same activities and doing the same maneuvers and the same things. I mean, and so I don't think it's a problem. It's practicing. It's you find something in life that you want to do, and to get good at the piano, you got to practice 30 minutes a day.
Yeah.
And it's the same song every time.
I'm not saying it's a bad problem. I'm just saying it's a problem for me because I want to play the full game. That's my.
Well, but
Have they said
you gotta run before you can walk.
Have they said whether or not it's going to be it's like all the content, like is it kind of?
No, it's a vertical
are they
slice of
having
the
any-
game.
Yeah, it's just a vertical slice. They haven't said what
Okay.
all it's going to be, what's in there.
Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah, because I remember, especially what was it, the Destiny beta where they only had Earth was available, and at that point people were like I remember getting through the Destiny beta and having a good time with it, but at the same time there were already concerns of there was they had laid out how much of Earth was the total campaign at the time, and you could only get through all of Earth.
Well, they had the moon also that they released. So
Yeah,
Well,
that was 1 day during the beta.
Yeah.
But for the most part, it was just Earth, and then people were already concerned about how much of the story content there was. So, if they have any kind of story missions or story content,
In Destiny.
I know.
Well, I mean, we didn't know that was it at the time. I think is the issue, right? We
Right.
all
Yeah,
have it
I
fun,
mean,
but-
I'm just curious as to if it is a vertical slice of the game, if they are going to include any kind of sizable chunk of the story, and if so, are they going to give any kind of metric or comparison, and, in the same way that Bungie gave the whole thing, oh, this is whatever fraction of, what didn't they say it was 1/3 of the game or something like that?
I don't know. I think it was more than the third.
Problem with that, yeah, but I think the problem with that is then people hold you to it, and then just say this is a vertical slice of the game. This is some of the game you get, because then once you start putting, oh, this is 1/3, then you get into the, well, this game isn't enough. There's not enough here. How are you going to keep people? And then you start getting all the Debbie Downers and the
Yeah, that's why I'm curious if they're going to do that in the first place, because it's
My guess.
it's a weird move for Bungie, and honestly, they have kind of taken some shots at Bungie in the past for how different their what Anthem is.
Yeah.
So I'd be curious to see even if it's just oh, this is only 1/8 of the game, and it's more than Earth was. I could see them taking that shot if they wanted to.
I'm guessing it'll be a few missions and then free play.
Yeah, because I don't think they're
Probably.
going to release any story in the demo.
No.
I'm pretty sure I'd have to go back and look at the tweet. I don't have it at my
Well,
fingertips.
weren't they
but I
initially
won't
saying that
find
we were
it.
going to get basically what we saw at E3?
Yeah, I think
That's kind of what I was assuming, that it would.
I
just
mean, initially, things can change. It seems like they've gone down a different path from then to now, and kind of want to focus more on the the short burst type things as opposed to giving us one chunk of something that's potentially end game.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's also possible that they just, whatever the alpha was, for people that know, I don't know, I'm not breaking NDA. I mean, maybe it's just that also, again, but who knows. We're going to continue on before I get all my stuff removed, okay? So first of all, just as a couple housekeeping things, I just really like to thank all of our listeners, people that have been reaching out on Twitter, people that have been reaching out on Reddit, directing other people to find our podcast. It's meant a lot to us. We see all your guys' tweets. We see all the emails. So please continue to share those. Continue to send those in. I see them. I don't share them with the other guys. So continue to send those in. If you guys have questions, you can email us at freelancercodex@gmail.com, or you can go to our website. We have a contact page that you can fill out the little form there. And if you have questions, if you have comments, if you have theories about things that are happening, about the lore, about the Legion of Dawn, whether you think Helena of Tarsus was an oppressor or the savior of humanity, you can email all that theory to us. So, all right, other housekeeping that we have. Every time we've talked about the comics, I think it's Yanni. We've been pronouncing the name Yanni. Emily Taylor, gameplay designer on Anthem, has tweeted us and said that it's actually pronounced Janny. Yarrow pronounces it like that, kind of like Johnny, but with an A. So it's Janny. It's not Yanni. It's not Laurel either. So we've got a little bit of clarification on that. So also, one interesting thing that I noticed is I peruse the BioWare website every now and then, looking at career paths, seeing what they're hiring for, because sometimes you can get some indicators on what they're working at, what they're looking for there. So there's been a producer of Anthem role posted on their website, and I thought it'd be interesting just to kind of go through the requirements, what it takes to be a producer. So you can see, we got to see today Mike and Ben, both have been on the show as producers of the game. So I thought it'd be interesting just to kind of go over the qualifications. I'm not saying that Mike's not qualified, but I mean, he was missing a lot of shots there on stream today. So qualifications to be a producer on Anthem: provide, no, there were shots fired, but none of them hit. Mike, come on, stand it up.
It's the wall. I ran into the wall.
Just kidding. You can come back anytime, Mike. So key responsibilities include provide leadership on video game market trends, patterns, and customer requirements, be a vision holder for the team, driving towards continued financial and critical success of the game, lead the development of new and innovative features, effectively manage a multidisciplinary development team to achieve identified and quantifiable goals. Oh, man. Maintain and enhance creative relationships with inside and outside developers, participating in the activities of other game product elements such as marketing, legal, public relations, product management, and other live operations. So you need 5 years experience as a producer. That's a pretty high bar. I mean, where else do you go to be a producer before you can be a producer? So you must have shipped at least 2 AAA titles, experience leading, motivating, and driving teams to success. As someone that has tried to motivate a team of 3 people to do a podcast, this one is probably the most difficult thing I can think of for a producer to do. That is hard.
You need to take some motivational speaking classes.
I might need to do that. So excellent written and verbal communication skills. I'm out on that one. Successful track record in development of high-profile entertainment software products. Successful track record in the development of high-profile I think that's saying you have to release good stuff. If you release bad stuff, you can't apply for this position. I think that's what that's saying to me. So strong, knowledgeable of the software game market and platforms, assertive, motivated team player, strong technical background is a plus. Experience delivering. You have to be able to read, I think, is a requirement.
You're out on a
delivering
bunch
content
of
in a live service setting. That's a lot of stuff. That's a lot of big words that I can't even pronounce. So, good luck for anyone that wants to become a developer or a producer for Anthem. Sounds like a pretty hard job. We've talked to a couple of the producers, great guys. Mike and Ben are both really passionate. We've also talked with a lot of other producers on Twitter. So, hey, if you guys want to apply, go do it. You could be part of one of the biggest games that's about to hit next year in 2019. So, Game of the Year 2019, right? That's what we're talking about?
Guaranteed.
Oh yeah.
So, guaranteed. So there's also a BioWare player. If you want to read more job postings that they have, there's one for player communication director for Anthem that goes into a lot of communicating with the player base in a bunch of different forums. Talks about social media, talks about communicating with them, putting on live events, and doing a bunch of other stuff. It seems like they're really gearing up for this live service and making sure that this game has a tail on it. So
I see Lupo's like looking it up right now. He's like, "What's wrong?" Let's see what
I actually did before, but
you can do it. I think a lot of times, you read the requirements that are put on these things, and I think they're set high for a reason. But I bet if anyone was passionate and had the skills, they can go in and not have a minimum of 5 years. Usually that's kind of what job requirements, they always shoot really high to kind of weed out the people that are like, well, I don't know if I could do that. So if you feel like you got the skills, never hurts to apply. The worst they could say is, no, get out of here, we're never going to hire you. So
and then you just keep asking them. You know, that's what we've learned over time.
That's what.
You just
isn't
keep
that what
asking
Ben
them.
did?
Yeah, it's like just keep asking them
Ben,
until
moved
they
into their
stop telling
office,
you
He was
no.
like, I'll move that for you. I'll do this for you. Just give me a job here.
You went and got drinks with
Hey,
them.
Yeah, all you BioWare devs, I just showed up to your studio with a whole crate of Raisin Bran. Am I in or what?
not
Raisin
Raisin
Bran?
Bran, you're not.
The myriad of breakfast cereals out there, and you went with Raisin Bran?
You should know.
Oh.
Come on, Mike. It's in there. It's in there.
Devon
Both the
knows why I
kitchens.
chose Raisin Bran.
I also tweeted it
What's
out.
wrong with you?
Hey, this
Mike
is
doesn't
an
check
Anthem
Twitter.
podcast. So one thing that I want to do, so we are going to do another giveaway. We have a lot of fun doing the giveaways. We have a good time with it. I hope a lot of people also have a good time trying to win stuff. So I think what we're going to do, we're going to give away to whoever wins this contest. We are going to give away the option of a Legion of Dawn edition, or if you're on PC, a Year of Origin Access Premiere. So whatever platform you want. If you want it on PlayStation 4, I think it's coming out on the PlayStation. You can get the Legion of Dawn edition for that. We'll work it out with whoever wins this. But we're going to do a caption contest. So after the show, I'm going to post a picture selected by Mike, not Mike Gamble, by Mike himself here. Selected a picture from the stream today. So we would like for you to caption it. We're not going to do like a whole pick the best one, whichever one makes us laugh. We're just going to do a random drawing, so it's kind of fair for everyone. If you're not too creative, don't worry about it. Participate anyway. There's still a chance that you can win. So we're going to post that contest tomorrow morning, probably when I post the show. So you'll have an option to win the game, which is pretty cool. And then, if you want to pay for it, if you were going to spend that money on the game anyway, buy the game for a friend that was on the fence, and then you'll have someone to play with. So fun stuff, right?
Yeah.
Lupo, I don't know if you can enter.
He can enter.
I think there's like a disclaimer in here that if
We
you're on the
didn't-
show at this time, you might not be
Hey,
able to.
No,
we're
all
just
right,
like
well,
Ben. We
this is the
forget
first
the
time he heard
disclaimers.
about it.
Okay.
Yeah. This is the first time he heard about it. So.
Fair enough. We'll let Lupo enter.
Yeah.
All right, guys. I've talked a lot. We're going to talk some more. So today, Devon, what happened today, Devon?
Oh, we had a great stream today. It was this afternoon. It was pretty good. They did a Stronghold. It was a nice surprise. They had John in there with them, Mike and Ben. Ben flew up all the way from Austin to show them how to stream properly. And shots fired. They're like, we hit those guys. No, they did. Technology, right? Sometimes, trust me, we've had plenty of our own technical issues with trying to stream or do other things, and just crap just doesn't work. So, sometimes there's nothing you can do. But they had a great stream.
You're a streamer, Lupo. You never have technical issues, right?
sure.
Okay.
I've gone through 3 different streaming softwares, 3 different capture cards, 2 different cameras, everything.
Isn't that Murphy's Law?
I just had to factory default my Xbox last week or 2 weeks ago, something like that. If it's not one thing, it's something else. Just
If it can go
so
wrong,
I
do
understand
well.
their pain. I absolutely understand their pain.
But we can laugh at it because, that's how we move on. Laughter is the best medicine. So
Absolutely.
we laugh
That's
about
what
it.
they say.
It was good.
We
Sorry,
cry
I-
afterward.
Totally
We do
derailed.
laugh about it. We do laugh about it.
Stephen the
Crying
Derailer.
is also a pretty good medicine.
But yeah, so they showed us the Interceptor perspective. As you know, if the Interceptor had ADD and couldn't stand still. Mike, I'm sorry, don't be mad. Okay, it's cool. You did a great job hitting a few walls, not really killing too many enemies, but looking up at the ceiling and different things.
So when I'm playing Anthem by myself and you guys have to come over and watch, I'll let you. It's cool.
Permaban. So as we got to see the Interceptor, like I want to know, like Lupo, this is the first time we got to see the Interceptor in full action. We've seen a couple little gifs of it on the website. So what was your overall impression of the Interceptor?
I thought the mobility of it was really good. It's drastically different from the other javelins that we've seen so far. So that's definitely a positive. If that's like your playstyle, you want to get in, do some burst damage real quick, and get out. Maybe recon the area. Like you kind of saw Mike do that, where he went after the snipers or went after the alarm objectives or something like that. So it seems like that's what it's designed to do. Like be fast, get in to do some burst damage real quick, and then get out and support your team in other ways possible.
Right, JD, what did you think about? I mean, that thing was melee. I didn't even know that thing had a weapon. I mean, it was melee, ninja stars.
You know,
flying around.
I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna lie. Seeing the Interceptor in action, especially when Mike was kind of getting a little bit more, depending on your perspective, either into a combo or just frantic. It kind of reminded me of like some of the like. I had flashbacks to like the old Mighty Morphin Power Rangers show where because. There were hands and like I mean there were punches, there were kicks. Like I dig it. I really liked how it moved. I really liked how it fought, and you know I wasn't too sure if the Interceptor was going to be one that I liked as much as the other javelins, but this one definitely the stream kind of changed my mind on it a bit. So
have you gone from going pro Colossus to going pro Interceptor here?
I think I'm still going to go Colossus at first, because I feel like I'm going to really want to... Colossus is probably going to be the easiest for me to understand, just from a playstyle point of view, because I'm a big guy, I can hit hard, it's a mindset that's easy for me to fall back into. But being quick and like making a javelin that really supports that, I feel like I can definitely... I'll definitely go into that later, but I'm not going to go swinging out of the gates with it.
Fair enough. Mike, impressions on the Interceptor. Interceptor impressions.
So it's fun. It looks fun. It's quick. It's agile. It's that ninja-esque kind of thing. I enjoyed watching it. It was fun watching the entire thing, the entire Stronghold, and realizing that it's going to take us weeks upon weeks of getting it done, because I can see Steven just dropping the thing and getting shot when he's supposed to put the thing in the thing, but you know, it's cool. These are those things we'll work through, but I'm excited. I don't think it's kind of taken me off the Ranger. I think everyone knows that I'm a Ranger dude until something happens, and although it was super cool, I don't think it's gotten me off of the Ranger. I'll probably still be playing Ranger.
Phrasing, Mike, okay? Phrasing. And then
sorry, bro.
Devon, yeah. So Devon, I don't really care what you have to think about the Interceptor, but like, what was your overall impression about like the stream itself? I mean, it seemed to me like it was just a group of guys playing a mission and then explaining afterwards. I mean, did you like that approach of this stream compared to last time when it was very much explaining what we're doing? This is this. This is this. This was just let's go in, let's play it. We'll talk about it later.
Yeah, so after a while, I enjoyed it. When they were first playing, I was thinking about maybe they should have a stream where they have their testers play, you know, where they can just like they're gonna go in and show them just kicking butt, you know, and taking names. Not that these guys were horrible; they did a great job. They're having fun. It's really hard to play games and talk. I'm sure Lupo can share his perspective on that. And but I think I still enjoyed it, you know, as things got on and they got more comfortable playing and talking and you know, I think it was something that I enjoyed. I did enjoy, you know, it was kind of frustrating that they didn't finish the Stronghold, but they're like, aha, tease, you have to see this for yourself, and which is fine, it's cool. But I thought that worked out really good, doing them playing and just having fun. I would like if they do where they're playing, if they show all the perspectives on screen. I don't really need to see their face the whole time while we're watching them play. Honestly, I mean, it's great that they have a video feed of them, which is fine. But I'd rather have 3 or 4 screens of showing every perspective, so I can watch whichever perspective I feel like. So
Right. That would be cool.
And I do kind of like that they just did a portion of it, because I think, we saw when we first saw the Swarm Tyrant way back during EA play. I mean, that was a cool moment, being like, oh wow, there's enemies this size in the game, and because it wasn't something that we had even seen before. It was like probably the biggest enemy we have seen at all in the game. So knowing that there's going to be another cool enemy that size, it kind of leaves that open to, what is this going to be? And you're going to have that moment of, oh, remember that first time we went through the Temple of the Scar or Skarsgård, whatever it's called. So I'm kind of excited that they didn't go all the way. But then I am kind of disappointed that it's like, you're right, because you do want to see more. I mean, we got to see them take out some turrets. They took out a lot of dudes. They picked up the thing. They put the thing on the thing. I mean, at least this time it was like, hey, let's blow up this door. It wasn't, hey, just go touch this computer and wait, a couple seconds. Yeah. It was actively doing something, so you felt like, okay, I'm not just waiting for a timer to go down. So you're actively picking up a thing of explosives and putting it at the door. So,
and I do like that you can't fly when you have those objectives when you're carrying it. So,
yeah, I think that would probably make it a little too easy if you can just fly around with those things. And I did like it that it was kind of just a casual, this is us playing. This is probably going to be exactly how a lot of people are when they're playing, or a lot of people are probably just going to be on mute, cussing at the people that are on the same server as them. But I thought it was a really well done stream. I really like the
shut up and res.
That's good. Yeah, just hurry up and res yourself. And we did do a poll about who was going to die first, Ben or Mike, and Mike did die first. Sometimes that happens when you put acid on the ground and you're not paying attention that you're actually taking acid damage. That kind of stuff happens. So one of the cool things, real quick, that I thought that can be improved on are the shurikens from the Interceptor are super tiny and don't feel like they have the amount of weight like the other weapons do. I mean, anytime there was a grenade thrown, anytime there was a super going off or an ultimate, it's really loud and explosive. The shurikens just seem very pew 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 pew, and that's it.
But they did a lot of damage.
That's the only way I can just. I mean, they did a lot of damage.
What was that sound again, Mike? I mean, not Mike, Steve.
Yeah.
Nice. Hey, this is episode
Gary,
66.
what was that sound?
I
mean, it just didn't seem like it was very, like, oh, I'm a superhero. This is like a superhero ability. I mean, maybe that's something that they're still working on, that they've looked at. They're like, hey, we're going to tweak this. Or maybe that's just, there's tiny little ninja stars. I don't know. Maybe that's just a me thing. I don't know if you guys had any input on the lackluster ability of the shuriken.
I mean, it definitely seemed a little like it didn't have the same kind of oomph as some of the other abilities. When I was watching the stream, it was like I could see him throwing them, but I don't know, like it felt like it could be more satisfying to throw them. Which that's my only gripe. It feels like it could be a little bit more. It could feel more rewarding, but then again, I don't know how it feels to actually play it, so I'm just going based off of visuals here.
Right. And then, Mike, you noticed something here you wanted to touch on?
Oh, as I was watching, and I just made a note there that, which is kind of a cool thing as far as gameplay is concerned. So they said that as you go through the Stronghold, if you end up doing it multiple times, then your dialogue, windows, boxes, the actual dialogue kind of starts to fade itself down, which is really nice because, and Lupo, you probably, streaming all this Destiny content, you can do, or all your content, just everything back and forth and different languages, and what's being said and what's happening. So it's going to be kind of nice when that's not there.
Yeah, we already have enough memes in this community. We don't need some NPC making a comment about something.
Right. Right.
Over and over again, yeah.
So it'll be good.
What did you think about the stream? We didn't ask Lupo what he thought about the stream.
Not to be confused with Freelancer Mike, but
exactly. There's only one.
Lupo, what was your impression? What do you mean? Didn't we ask? We asked Lupo.
I talked about the Interceptor a little bit, but I mean, overall, the streams are improving week over week, you know, and I think that's the most positive thing that we have to look at right now. I definitely agree with Devon's perspective where we should have seen all of them, but they wanted to focus mostly on the Interceptor because we haven't seen it yet from that perspective. But I definitely agree that it would have been nice to see all of them because we haven't seen a lot of the Colossus since EA Play.
Yeah.
So that I would have liked to see more of as well. As much as like Colossus is probably like the bottom for me. I don't know. I guess Colossus and Interceptor are both bottom for me at this point. But I would like to see more. But I can't complain. Like this is an absolute surprise. Getting the stream in general.
I think the explosions were really good as well. I mean, I was really surprised. It's like, man, these explosions are huge, and it didn't look like there was any frame drops that were going on.
I didn't see any. There was one where Mike took his Interceptor and he flew it into a tunnel, and then he popped his ultimate. Did you see that one? and like I was like, oh my gosh. Yeah, it was. And it seems like everything he shot ricocheted off of another wall, and it was just bouncing all over the place. So it was cool. I mean, it was cool. I think he actually prefaced it with, "Hey guys, watch this." You know, I was like, like hold my beer, here I go.
Well, and then when they were blowing up all the mines, and then Ben came down there, and he's like, "Well, I'm just gonna run through all these," and it was just like, going on.
I mean, I think it definitely has to be said that it actually looked like they were having a lot of fun playing the game.
Yeah,
because
it did.
I mean, I've seen other devs like play their games on stream, but Anthem really looked like they were having a good time, and it made me really want to play the game again.
I think it looked a lot of fun. I think they should do a co-stream on Mixer. I mean, maybe because they're streaming on Twitch, they don't really know about co-streaming, where people can then choose whichever perspective they want to look at.
Yeah.
Because you can have all four. If you want to look at one, then you can choose it and go from there. But maybe that's something we'll tell them about. Hey, maybe you should try that.
There you go. Try this.
That's something like the brand new what's the position? Player community director should know about all the new technology that's out there.
You mean a community manager?
Not me. So one of the things that I really liked about the end of the stream was the Q&A that they had. I actually thought this is probably one of the better Q&As that we've heard from. A lot of times the questions are just kind of out there, but this seems like, I don't know if they wrote these questions down before, because Ben had mentioned that he skipped over 4 of them, but it seemed like this was a pretty focused set of questions. Maybe they took it from Twitter before, which I really liked. More curated list, I guess. Yep. So one of the questions, though, that I wasn't a fan of, because they've answered this before, how many different types of javelins can you have? If you want 4 storms, you can go 4 storms. They've answered that before. I think they answered that way back in PAX. But again, there's a lot of people that this is probably the first stream that they've caught talking about Anthem. So, maybe it's important that these things keep coming out. And we talked a little bit about having an FAQ out there. What has been answered, what hasn't been answered. And that's kind of hard because a lot of this stuff probably isn't set in stone 100% yet. So do you spend the time now making it an FAQ, or do you wait till the game releases and then do an FAQ? And at that point, people are going to be playing the game. Is it going to be that important to even have something out there like that?
I think it'd be important because people are still going to want to check into it, and it gives people something to look at even when they're first starting until they get to kind of know everything. And I mean, like I said, things change. Just like earlier this week when I was asking Mike Gamble about those infusions that he talked about with our interview, right after E3, or was it before E3? It was before E3. And he was like, yeah, there's infusions. And so I was like, all right, we didn't hear anything about infusions. And so I asked him, and I was like, are infusions still in the game? He's like, yeah, they're still in the game. And then Ben came in, he's like, oh, just so you know, we changed the name from infusions to inscriptions. So that's what they are. So not to confuse people and think, oh, they're 2 different things. So it's definitely difficult, even, with I don't know how large their dev team is, but it's obviously 2 different studios and 2 different countries and towns, so there's a lot of stuff going on.
And it's very possible that memo just didn't make its way up to Edmonton yet. That, hey, we're changing the name of this because we're going through and we don't want to call it in Infusion, because other games are using, you know, the terminology in Infusion, and you want to differentiate yourself. So,
Yep.
I mean, and that is hard, because we even talked about the grenades way back in, shoot, it must have been, well, when did we get the grenade? That was the
pre E3 trailer. Yeah.
That was the pre-E3 trailer where the Interceptor throws a grenade. There's a huge old thing about, you know, the Interceptor throws a grenade, but we've been told that only the Ranger has grenades, and that was only in there because they thought it looked cool
filler,
and it was filler. But now on the website it says that there's a acid bomb, which is a grenade. So it's, you know, this stuff fluctuates. I mean, and it's very, I mean, like you said, these are huge teams. You know, the guys over at Cinematics probably aren't talking with gameplay, you know, every day, so they don't know. And that's where the producers come in. They're trying to steer the ship. John's kind of at the helm, and he's trying not to crash it into an iceberg. So I mean, it's hard. But I know everything that we've been seeing so far. I mean, the game looks fantastic visually. It's stunning. So I'm excited to see more. Maybe we'll get our hands on it in a couple days. So, and then any other comments, questions, concerns about what?
Why are we gonna get it in a couple days? Do you know something we don't?
This is
Oh,
secret.
maybe I can't tell. Maybe that's under NDA. Never mind. So the customizing the Legion of Dawn skins, you can change the colors, but you can't change the decals, because the devs they've developed decals to look a certain way to make them actually look nice. Because if you get stuff in the hands of the users, we just mess everything up. So they're just like, nope, this is what the sticker looks like. This is what you get.
You know.
You can change the colors of the suit and everything, but you know, the decals are what they are for right now, because they said during the personalization stream that it's just going to add extra layers, extra, you know, bandwidth that they're going to have. Not bandwidth, what's the word I'm looking for?
Data.
It's going to add extra data when you're tracking all that stuff. So you can't change the color of the decals yet. John said he really wants that option, but maybe John doesn't know what he wants. So that's not what you want. Okay.
I don't know. I mean, we want to be able to customize as much as we want, right? So, I don't know.
Yeah, but do we? I mean, do we really need to customize the interior of our Javelin?
Yeah, I want it felt. Okay.
Not the interior.
Or velour, please.
Yeah.
I want that plush interior.
I want a freaking wooden javelin, and
Oh, you'll
Yeah,
get that. That'll be there.
It'll be there.
The storm
Not
cape,
at lunch.
Well, the storm cape would catch
Not at
fire.
lunch.
Is what I'm
you can
saying.
have a metal cape, but you can't have a wooden javelin.
No, you can't. So, important question that popped up afterwards, and I want to get all of your input on this. So, make sure you have input.
Joking.
They talked about, are there any loot drops that only come out of strongholds? And Ben said, no, there's not. He said the system is a loot table-based system, to whereas it seems like everything's on a table, and as you increase the difficulty, certain items are going to drop more, and they have a more frequent rate of dropping. I think there's still a lot that they haven't told us about the loot tables. I imagine that Stronghold loot tables are going to be different from legendary contract tables that John talked about. So I think there's still a lot that we don't know. But I wanted your guys' input. Would you rather have the knowledge that this Swarm Tyrant is going to drop this certain component that you have to chase, or would you rather have it that, you know what, I could be playing anywhere and that component could drop? Lupo, do you have a preference on how that would happen, or how you think it should happen?
Well, like, I'm used to the Destiny system or Borderlands system, where if you want weapon A, it's at this particular place. You can go here, kill that boss until you're blue in the face, and get that particular item. But if they manage to utilize the system the way they have it and keep everything in that, Lancer to Grandmaster 3 section, increasing the drops, but then you have better items for those legendary contracts you mentioned, and have those be specific to whichever boss the contract is for, I'd be okay with that.
Mm-hmm.
So then they're like on a daily rotation or a weekly rotation or something like that, so you know that there's a specific time frame to get these things. I think with live service, having a demand for things at specific times is what drives player bases to come back on a consistent basis. So rather than get everything out at the beginning, so if the thing resets on Tuesday, you can do everything on Tuesday and Wednesday and be done for the rest of the week and not play the game. But if things change every couple of days or every other week, there's necessity to be playing more than just the fastest amount of time.
Yeah, Yeah, I like that. I agree. I think I'm okay with a grand table that has everything in it, but I'm also okay with event specific loot. I think it's important to have there because then I mean you can theoretically then skip a bunch of stuff, get loot somewhere else without having to do every activity that way. I think I've got a foot in both camps. I like the big loot table, but then I also like the event specific loot.
My
JD, do you have?
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Devin.
All right. Well, I have two main concerns, right? So, like they're talking about, if you want a specific weapon and you get the, you have the stats are going to be the same, but you're looking for specific. I can't remember the word I just mentioned a few minutes ago. Inscriptions. Yeah, like in certain infusions.
Yeah, right.
So you want certain inscriptions, and if you don't get what you want, you have to go get that weapon again, right? And if it's all luck all the time, it's going to be kind of difficult and can maybe be a little bit frustrating to get that loot. That's kind of the concern there for that, as well as the one thing I don't like about timed or specific. I just always think back to the Black Spindle, right? In Destiny. You had to play that specific mission at a certain time. It was like only in the evening or whatever, and you had to get it there. And so it sucked because I got it like my first playthrough. I got lucky and got it my first playthrough. And did it all in the time and everything that you needed. And then all the time people were like, oh, let's go play that mission. Let's go keep trying this mission. And so I was stuck playing with people trying to do this every Wednesday night to get one weapon, which was super frustrating because I want to play other stuff, but I still want to play with my friends. So it's like, all right, let's go play some more Black Spindle mission. Yay. So I mean that can be frustrating for me when you're like, if you're just trying to keep going through for the same weapon, it can be a little irritating for me, because I guess because I only got the weapon and it's irritating. If I didn't get it,
well then don't get it day 1, hour 1, week 1.
I mean, what do you want me to do? Suck? I mean, I
don't think that's an option, Mike.
I mean, come on, but
oh man.
I just, it can be frustrating when you're playing the same stuff over and over, and I don't want to have to play the same stuff over and over to get the weapon, but I don't know. Those are my two frustrations, right? So.
JD?
No, and they're valid. They're just not very good.
Like you playing the game?
So in regard to like loot coming in at certain times, like Devin was saying, like that could be that was definitely frustrating, and most of my experience with this usually comes from Warframe, and that's usually because like there are only certain times that certain types of resources are available. So like Lupo, you play a lot of Warframe, so like you're familiar with like Nitane extract.
Oh yes.
How difficult it is to like. There's an app.
I know what you mean.
Yeah. And the whole thing is that like you can only get that at certain times, and on one hand like it rewards the hardcore players who have nothing but time, because like if they're constantly like when I had no job and was doing nothing really outside of school, I had to like anytime like my phone went off, it's like, oh, Nitane extract is available right now, like I would jump on my Xbox, get it real quick, and then jump off because I was like farming that one particular resource. But the idea that you could just get it from anything, it's a lot more convenient to me, because it doesn't feel like it allows me to work towards something that I want without feeling like pressured or really forced to play the game. Because I mean, I can't really speak for other people, but I know that I am one of those people that I do not like being forced into something. I don't like it when I have to play a game on somebody else's terms. And when you're getting into those points where you can only get a certain weapon or a certain resource at a certain time during a very particular circumstance, it does kind of feel like the game is basically saying, well, you could play this right now and get the thing that you want, but you could also just not get it, and it just feels a little bit too much like it just feels a little bit too controlling for my tastes. Like anytime it's come up, I'm not sure if that makes sense, but
No, it makes sense, and I think this is one of the a game developer's nightmare, trying to figure out the best way to implement this. Like, one thing that's not fun is playing Borderlands 2. There's an item called the bee in that game that if you get the item, you completely break the game when it was first released, before they patched it and nerfed it. You get this thing and you just destroy everything. And the way to get it was to farm this one person over and over again. There was a quick load point that you had to run from. And I did this for, probably 12 plus hours to get this drop. And that's not fun. But then you're like, well, then if it's not fun, then why did I do this for 12 hours? Just to get get to the point where you're like, okay, now I can start having fun after I did this unfun thing for 12 hours. And I don't like that. So if you build a game to where you can get a loot drop, from doing anything, but then to JD's point, that also takes away, is it really a chase at that point? If anything can drop at any time, what are you really chasing? I'm going to go shoot this thing, anything can drop out of it. It's not like you're really chasing something. And one of the things that I think that we don't know yet is, how seasons are going to happen in Anthem. If there's going to be certain items that are only going to happen during this season, is it going to change from the next season? Are all those items going to go away forever? Is there never going to be a chance to get it back? I mean, there's a lot of things that we don't know yet. I mean, even between the 5 of us, we have differing opinions on how it should work and what's fun for us. So you can imagine being a developer and trying to figure that out for thousands of people. I mean, and at the end of the day, we're not going to know how it works until we actually get our hands on it. We're not going to know what those percentage numbers are, if things are never going to drop, if things are dropping too often. So it's a hard thing to try to develop for, but I think we beat that.
You do bring up a good point, though.
I do.
I do think that one big thing to emphasize, though, is the fact that it opens up the possibility of grinding grinding for a particular resource or weapon, or basically just grinding in general. However, unlike something like Destiny or Warframe, where it's like you're grinding the same missions over and over again, you have the freedom of variety, that this can drop anywhere if you just have the difficulty. Even if you don't have the difficulty higher, the possibility is always there. But if you want to have it be higher, play higher difficulty, make it tougher on yourself. But all I know is that that's probably the worst part about grinding for me, is when you're playing the same mission over and over and over again, and having the narrative dialogue kind of fade out, that's going to help things. But at the same time, it's like you're going to get tired of the game, or at least one portion of the game, much faster if it's just the same thing over and over and over again, just to get one item. Because I cannot tell you, like, no matter how great a raid was in Destiny, sometimes running it like week after week just for like one thing ended up making me sick of that place.
And sometimes you just never get the boots you're looking for. So, and then they also talked about we're going to have 6 difficulties when they launch the game. We're going to have what do they call it? Shoot, I don't even know if I can say it. Can we say it?
Yeah, they told us what they are. Lancer, Freelancer.
Are you sure?
Master.
Okay. So they had Lancer, Freelancer, Master. Then they have Grandmaster 1, 2, and 3. After you hit level 30, you unlock those higher difficulties. And Ben said in the future they're going to add on to that. They also said that Grandmaster 1, 2, and 3, they can scale those up and down to whatever they need to. If they're too easy, they can turn that up. And then eventually they'll add on to these. I imagine when it hits live service after the initial release, there'll be Grandmaster 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and then your weapons are going to increase exponentially, and you'll just be able to blow up lots of stuff, and it'll be really cool. So, and then just going through these, since we've been talking for an hour and we've got other stuff to get to, they talked about the medal system. We got to see that in action. We didn't get to see a lot of it. It showed a bunch of medals popping up with the achievements that they were doing. It showed XP gain. John said as you play with bigger groups of people, you're going to be able to share that XP and all those achievements that you did, so it's more advantageous to group up with more people. So, I mean, use matchmaking. You can match up with a bunch of random people, get that bonus, get through the game, get a lot of gear, get a lot of loot, have a lot of fun, all that fun stuff. And then real quick, they also mentioned, someone asked about raids. They said, will there be raids, or aspirational content is what they're calling it. A reason to go and grind and play the game. So, or the long tail chase they've been called it. At launch, there's going to be a lot of stuff they said because the game's going to be released. There's going to be all this new stuff that we're going after. Then after that, Elder Game's going to open up with strongholds and legendary contracts. They did not mention Shaper Storms. I know they mentioned Shaper Storms would be like an end game activity previously, but they didn't even, say, hey, we're not talking about Shaper Storms yet. So maybe that's something that's not in the game anymore, or maybe that's something that's changed. Which would be kind of weird, but I don't know.
I didn't notice that.
Yeah, because I mean, Shaper Storms, that was like the big thing in 2017, is that they dove right into that Shaper Storm, but they haven't mentioned it at all.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see if maybe that's just got reworked and now those are legendary contracts. And then when live service rolls out, there's a whole bunch of stuff that they're not ready to talk about for obvious reasons. And then we'll get to see all that stuff later. So a lot of fun stuff coming out, maybe. I hope it's going to be fun. If it's not going to be fun, we're going to end the show. So hopefully it's fun. Any other comments on the live stream before we move on to talk about the Legion of Dawn? Anyone have anything? All right. We're going to move on then. So...
We got you, Steve. We're here for you, bro.
All right, I know. I've been like looking at this stuff a bunch. I hope you guys got the opportunity to. So, real quick, I am going to talk a lot about the Legion of Dawn. We had a trailer of the Legion of Dawn that we were able to see last week before we recorded with John, so we didn't get to talk a lot about it. With just a quick overview of it, and then we got a little snippet, a blurb on the website about the Legion of Dawn. So at any time, you guys please jump in, stop me. If not, I'm just going to keep rolling on because we've been talking for an hour and there's a lot to get into this. So one of the things that I really enjoyed about the Legion of Dawn cinematic that we got is it showed off a lot of murals, and it showed off what I think is a a timeline of what we're seeing with Helena Tarsus.
Yeah.
Okay, so you guys are gonna have to go with me. This is just pure speculation, pure theory crafting.
We're going down the rabbit hole.
We are. This
Everybody
is the
hang
biggest rabbit
on.
hole. So Legion of Dawn info, real quick. I'm gonna read this. So they say our world is a violent and cruel place. For centuries, we lived at its mercy, unable to rise above the violent chaos that shook our land and mutated the creatures around us. We would be suffering still if not for the Legion of Dawn under the eye of General Helena Tarsus. Is it Helena? Helena? What are you guys going? I'm going Helena. I've heard a lot of Helena, though.
I thought it was Helen of.
What?
No.
Like Helen of Tarsus?
But it was
not
spelled.
that.
Helena.
Mike doesn't read anything. You can text him all this information. He doesn't read it. There's websites he won't read it. You can put together his whole long dissertation and he won't read it. So that's why Mike thinks it's Helen of.
I thought it was. Hey, are there 4 javelins in this game?
You son
Can you play with the same 4 javelins with all 4 people?
You know what? If Ash was on right now, you know what she would say? So we'd be, if not for the Legion of Dawn, under the eye of General Helen of Tarsus, they built the first javelins, protected us from the chaos, and created a new future of all who came after. Their story, her story, is what makes ours possible. When every day was a battle for survival, we had few resources to make better lives for ourselves and even less time. But General Tarsus and those who followed her saw a different way forward, and that was by making weapons. One of her followers was Arden Vasa, an inventor and genius in his time. He built the Javelins of Dawn, a forebear to the Colossus, and created one for each of General Tarsus's disciples. With the powerful tools at their disposal, General Tarsus led the Legion of Dawn to victory against the forces of our raging world, finally giving us a chance to live in peace. Okay, so real quick, I'm going to describe a couple of the murals that we've seen. Devon will put this up on YouTube. We'll also put these on the website. So for people that are listening, we'll describe these as best as we can. Hopefully you've already seen these, but we're going to go through here. So one of the murals that we see is it looks like a javelin, a very small javelin with a spear stabbing a titan in the chest. And this titan is falling backwards. And one of the interesting things about this mural is it looks like there's a tentacle creature holding the titan in place. So I don't know if this was Helena Tarsus led this thing into a trap and was able to take it down this way. And these were kind of the tactics she was using at the time, because in this image, They don't have a lot of armor. There are other creatures also standing in the forefront, but these people, they don't look human. They definitely look alien. If you look closely at their hands, they only have 3 digits. Their heads look like they're sloped back, like almost like a Triceratops hood, I guess. I don't know a better way of describing it.
Interceptors?
An interceptor?
Just,
Oh, no, I mean, oh, okay. So they look like the head of the interceptor that we've seen. They're sloped back, almost like they look super fast. They're armored skulls. So I don't think these things are human. Have you guys looked at this at all and been able to, do you think these are human? Do you think these are a different race, mutated by the Anthem of Creation?
I think they're all in javelins.
So you think they're helmets?
Yeah, I think these are javelins. So that's what I think.
I mean, you do see like the knee joints and stuff like that in the pictures. So like there's noticeable like circles where the knee joints are, and
Gears
I think
and gyros and stuff.
and then like the backwards leg thing. I forget there's an actual word for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
Creepy?
backward leg thing works. So
Creepy? Isn't it creepy?
No.
Yeah,
It is a
those are
little
people
creepy.
those are people in javelins, Steven.
okay, so if you guys look at the heads, look at the helmets, I don't think these are helmets, and I will tell you why, because I have other supporting evidence. Okay,
Hang on,
So
I'm gonna
if-
interject something real quick.
interject, please.
So remember in the Legion of Dawn trailer, Helena's armor doesn't match any of the javelins that we have now. So I mean, it's very possible that those are javelins, just different iterations.
Right. So go with me. So this is very early in our struggle on the planet. So our armor is going to be very primitive. The weapons that we have are going to be very primitive. We're seen holding spears here. Some of the other people don't even have weapons. So as we move on, so one of the things that we have seen in the Might Gamble Sabine Fort Tarsus stream, there was a mural on the ground of a large enemy that was holding 2 bats, and then there was Helena Tarsus. I'm assuming this is Helena. She also has a spear at this time. The javelin looks like it's getting larger from the first photo, and then there's a sword in the middle. So the creature that we're actually seeing, if you zoom in and you zoom in enhance as much as you can, it doesn't look like it's an Ash Titan. If you see the Titan from the first mural that we saw, you can see that its chest is opened up. Doesn't have any weapons. All the Titans we have seen from all the streams, they don't have any type of weapon in their hands. They're just kind of walking around. But this thing does. And if you look at it closely at its head, it also kind of has a sloped back forehead, like we've seen kind of in the upper image. So my theory crafting is that there is this other race that is not human, that maybe we were inhabiting the world with, that we were teaming up with to fight with against the world. Because if you go to the next slide, the next image that we have shows Helena with, every time you see one of these murals, it seems like her armor is getting bigger. So I'm imagining they're doing some work on it. And after the first image, with Helena and the big old giant creature fighting over the sword, every mural after that shows Helena with the sword. So I'm kind of following this chronological order of, she fought with the spear, her javelin's getting better, she won the sword, fought over the sword, gained it. Even from the collector's edition art book, we see that maybe this person in the image that's handing her the sword is Arden, the person that was mentioned in the blurb. So as she finally gets the sword and she's standing in a line full of next to a bunch of people that are holding spears and shields, if you zoom in on this, you can kind of see that they're not wearing helmets. There's a lot of open faceplates that look like they're not human inside. You can also see that their hands only have 3 digits on them. So again, evidence that I don't think that we were, only humans fighting for survival. There were other races maybe that came before us that were created by the Anthem of Creation that we were fighting with.
So if I might interject, it's definitely worth that we've noticed in plenty of the trailers before, and even in just some of the screenshots, some of the statues on the planet in Anthem is they're definitely not human. Like I know we haven't seen like a statue that was fully intact yet, but at least like from I think the most intact one that we've seen was maybe just a face, but like some of it was kind of obscured from like the about the brow down. Like it did not look human. Like the nose looked alien. The had a general humanoid shape, but it definitely was not human.
Yeah, there's the one from the EA Play demo that looked Prothean, like from Mass Effect.
Yeah. I do think, and call this a crazy theory if you will, but I kind of have the sneaking suspicion that because we know that this is a world that was abandoned by its gods, like, and I've mentioned this in a previous episode of the podcast, but the whole thing is that the way that they say that like not like like our gods are dead or our gods are missing. It's like it was abandoned by its gods. Like I feel like those statues, the people that they fought off, and the people like I feel like those might have been the people that were in charge of terraforming or creating this planet. And I feel like they were like, nah, this planet's too much trouble. We're bouncing. And it's I think that's what's like they kind of figured out too late that, you know, these guys were controlling the Anthem, and even though they didn't really care about what happened to the humans, the whole thing is that they were better at controlling it than they were, but now they're gone, so they've abandoned their planet. Like the word choice has just always been like the biggest clue to me, that they knew that they were there previously, and they knew that they purposely left.
Yeah, I mean, there's tons of Shaper relics that are scattered around. So I imagine, and shoot, when was it? We even know that when they say Shapers, they don't even know if it's plural or if it's singular. I don't remember when they said that. Shoot is one of the maybe it was
like 2 streams ago or something like that.
It might have been 2 streams ago. So I mean, there's still a lot of speculation over what a Shaper even is, but. You know, as we look through, you know, Helena Tarsis, she's standing in the line with this mural. She's standing by a lot of people with lances. I'm guessing maybe this is where, you know, they got their lancers from, the term lancers. I mean, that's probably very similar to how we did it in medieval times. You know, a freelancer was a knight that was, you know, roaming around the countryside with his lance looking for work. So if you look at the image where, you know, Helena Tarsis is standing over a bunch of corpses with an honor guard, maybe these were their disciples. You know, it looks like they're winning some fight and they're getting ready to continue. But the next slide, sorry, this is a lot. So if Mike, Devon, Lupo, you guys want to stop me at any time, go ahead. But you can see that in this slide that these are obviously not human now, right? 3 digits, weird face plates, weird looking heads. So you're with me now. I'm convincing you. Good. Okay. So as you go down to the next one, I think, you know, as maybe we know that Helena was a general, but we don't know who exactly was leading humanity. We don't know if she was acting on orders. We don't know if she was doing this because, you know, she thought it was right. But it seems in the next mural that is seen in the trailer, Helena Tarsis has her sword slammed into the ground. It looks like she's in some ruins. I'm guessing this might be Fort Tarsis early on. But those same creatures that were standing next to her in the previous slide, it looked like they're going to attack her now. Yeah. They have weapons up, they've got spears up, and, you know, with her stabbing her sword into the ground, shattering everything, I don't know if this is symbolic of her shattering some sort of bond or some sort of pact that she had with these creatures. We don't know exactly what happened there. Maybe it wasn't her choice that this had to happen. Maybe she was ordered to do it, but she's shown it. To me, it looks like, you know, there was a separation of some sort from her and her disciples. And one of the interesting things to look at in all these murals, there's been no sign of any type of firearms at all. But then when we move on to those last images during the trailer where she is fighting an Ash Titan with the sword, jumping up as high as she can, then we get a shot of her wielding this sword, getting struck by lightning. There's a lot of these creatures that are around her that look, you know, the head structure looks exactly the same. The toes, as you see them getting blasted away from Helena, 3-toed. I imagine that's very similar to the creatures that we saw depicted in the murals. So to me, it seems like there was some change to where the people that were working with Helena turned against her. And in those images, it's also the first time we start to see actual firearms in them. If you zoom in on the images, they're using firearms against her. You know, even when they turn the image of her helmet, there's a giant bullet hole in her faceplate. So I don't know if this is, you know, old guard, you know, Helena Tarsis fighting an old way, whatever faction splintered off from the Legion of Dawn. Maybe it was the Dominion that splintered off. Maybe the splintering we're seeing is when the Freelancers or the Legion of Dawn split off and the Dominion was created, and then they fought against her and they developed these other tools. We know that they've developed things like the Storm, and now they're developing weapons that, you know, Helena just wasn't prepared for, and that's kind of how she fell. So, you know, a lot of interesting stuff that you can read into. I mean, of course, this is all just wild speculation that I've been spending way too much time thinking about, but putting these murals in chronological order, just how I think that looks like they go, I mean, it kind of tells me a story already, just based on what little information we have. So that's my theory.
What if it's the scar, right? So, I mean, it kind of looks like in the mural where she's like slamming the sword down, you kind of see there more alien type creatures, but it looks there, you know, they kind of look like images we've seen of like the scar on the shield and different things. You know, I mean, maybe at that point before they became enemies, I mean, they haven't really told us where the scar came from, right? You know, and
well, I guess for other reasons. I know it's, well, we can't say. Never mind. Some of that stuff is under NDA, so.
Well, I mean, it's got to be some kind of different, you know, race. But when they talked about like the stream where they showed off the first the Arcanist or whatever, they talked about what was it? They showed on like for a brief blip or whatever when they were forming, the insects were forming arms and legs and whatever. I mean, I don't know. Could be.
No, so let's see. What stream was that? That must have been EA Play when they were showing Yarrow for the first time, right?
Yeah.
No, that was
after
PAX West.
Yeah.
Oh, that was PAX. Yep. So that was the PAX stream.
When they did the panel. Yeah.
I wonder if it has a date in there when they first. I'll have to go look it up, because we know that Helena Tarsis was, you know, the fort was founded, you know, 500 years ago from when the game starts. That was Kathleen Rootsart mentioned that during the EA panel.
Yeah.
So, you know, I guess we would have to see when the scar first appeared. But according to my theories, you know, for some reason we were, you know, the Dominion started fighting against us for some reason. Maybe it was over equal rights of 3-toed people compared to the 5-toed humans. I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that we'll still have to see, but from what we can tell from the few murals we have, this is kind of
the legs look clearly
here.
different to me, right? So, like, they're not in their full armor, and the one where she's slamming her sword down, the legs are completely different than the one where she's standing, like, with the honor guard, where it looks like they're either in javelins or they have some kind of armor on. So,
right, and it's very possible that those are different, but I mean, them using spears, a lot of the heads look the same. It's, you know, it could be artist interpretation depending on, you know, who drew these or who carved these murals. So, a lot of interesting stuff. I mean, that's my knowledge drop. There wasn't a lot else to talk about. So this is, you know, the Legion of Dawn. I mean, this is going to be the one thing that we're going up against. So another interesting thing. Sorry, I'm going to keep talking because I did a lot of research on this. Is that I don't think that javelins were able to fly back then. This is probably a newer development that javelins were actually able to fly. In the myths of General Tarsis, it said that she scaled a mountain to defeat a massive beast at its peak and protect the people below. The Freelancers now fight to protect all humanity. So I'm guessing way back then, you know, they just didn't have the power to fly, so they had to walk everywhere. So it's kind of interesting to see that evolution of technology, and, you know, going from swords, spears, and then going to firearms, and maybe them not being prepared for that escalation of war is what eventually lost, you know, Helena Tarsis whatever war or her life. It says she sacrificed herself for us, so maybe she fended everyone off until we were able to get to safety. So that
I just
go ahead.
Well, I just want to add just one quick thing. I know we mentioned it the first time we talked about that the one particular mural, but I just wanted to point to the one where it has the has Helena Tarsis versus some unknown giant. I just want to draw attention to that again real quick. So the last time we talked about it, I kind of mentioned that it kind of looked to me like because it kind of almost looks like they're jumping out of a really like elastic window, if that makes sense. Like it looks like they're jumping through something that's cracking as it's going, and maybe it's symbolic of lighting. I don't know, but I do just want to point out, especially since this is a clearer picture, that it definitely seems like they're both wielding the same kind of power. And whatever it is that she's fighting is doing it without any kind of javelin. Like, so I don't know if that helps anybody in our audience, craft their own theory or anything like that. But to me, that's like the big thing that stands out about that mural. So,
maybe it's not even her. I don't know.
I'm not sure. It could, maybe Helena is able to wield it naturally, and she just wears a javelin for fun. I don't know about you guys, but I would wear a javelin for fun.
Seems heavy, so. But guys, since if there's nothing else, I mean, we've talked a lot. This has gone very long, and I talked way too much, and you guys are just like, I can tell you're bored to tears with all my with all my lore dropping here. So.
What do you think, Lupo? Since you're the guest here, what do you think?
What do I think
about Steven's ideas?
I don't think he's rambling. I think he's passionate about the lore here, and he's done a lot of work. And usually you guys don't have this much time between the last thing that you did to now. So like Steve was saying at the beginning of this whole segment, that this trailer dropped as you were getting ready to have the interview with John. So it didn't really get touched on a lot in your last episode. So yeah. He's literally had a full 7 days to think about this. That's a lot.
That's dangerous.
That is dangerous.
Yeah.
I mean, I have ideas. I don't want to carry it on. Like, I think it's interesting to see that same picture that JD was talking about, and there's a sword in the middle, and they're clashing from either side. It kind of seems like that's like the center of power. Maybe it's more symbolic than just a physical representation of a sword. Because then you see, like, she takes the sword and breaks down whatever she's in. Like, the trailer did say that she had to sacrifice herself to save everybody else. So maybe the sword is there, but it's not necessarily about the sword itself.
Yeah, I always thought, looking at it from whenever we saw Mike and Sabina walking over it, is that, it's probably not just, well, it could be just a, shaper relic that we were talking about with John, that this thing was just super powerful, that it was worth fighting over and having this ultimate conflict, because, going forward from this mural, from what we can tell, she had it with her until she died. So, I mean, and maybe that is just a symbol of her power, and that was a representation of whoever was going to lead the fort would wield the sword, and that thing's been locked away, because we know that they said in the trailer that the Fortress of Dawn has been locked away, and now we need to follow in the footsteps. So maybe that's something that's going to play a big role coming up in the actual game. Is maybe that sword is going to be, it's going to be there for us to find, or to be
Steven
a big part of it.
Steven really wants us to be able to find a sword to use.
I really do. I mean,
even though everyone tells him there's no swords in the game.
Sword fetish. Like, he's got a thing for swords, man.
Yeah, so. Anyway, the only other thing that we've heard that the issue 2 of the comic there's a little blurb on comicbook.com. If you go to comicbook.com, you can just search for the Anthem comic, and it'll come up, and there's a little blurb. I don't know if I want to read it if people don't want spoilers. Reaching out to someone that actually knows things about comic books, I was kind of confused why they would release this before the first issue is out. Apparently it's a comic book thing that you have 3 months to make orders on comic books, and that's how they get shipped out to the stores. So they do this a lot. A lot of these issues will be spoiled beforehand, just so store owners can actually go and buy them. So it's a normal thing that they did this. So I don't know if you want spoilers, you can go read it. And there's not huge spoilers, but I know the internet's weird about spoilers nowadays, so I don't want to get my head bit off. So as we end this episode, we want to thank Lupo for coming out and hanging out with us while I rambled on for like 40 minutes about nothing. Thanks for, at least we have one more listener that we were forced to have here with us. So Lupo, before we go, you want to plug all your channels and all your Twitters and all your Instas? I think that's what the kids say.
I have the same branding everywhere. Lupo2therescue. Mixer, Twitch. I don't really stream on Twitch, but it's there. YouTube, Instagram, and Twitter.
Very cool, and make sure to catch you at your Enter the Javelin web show on Mondays at 8 Central.
Eastern.
I only
Eastern.
go by Mountain. Sorry,
Yeah.
Mountain's the only time zone that matters.
I was
So.
like, he sent me a message the other day. I'm like, he's like 9 o'clock. I was like, 9 o'clock? That's not that bad. And then I realized it's mountain time. I'm like, man, I would have be sore.
Oh yeah. We better let Lupo go here. So if there's
Sorry,
anything else,
past
guys,
midnight over
there's a Shaper Storm on the horizon, and it's getting super close. Maybe there's not even going to be Shaper Storms in the game anymore.
They're
That'll
gonna be
sad.
there. Don't you?
Look for the caption contest.
Yep.
Look
Yeah,
for the
we'll
caption
tweet that and
that out.
win yourself either a year of EA Access, Premier, Origin, Alpha, whatever it's called, or Legion of Dawn version of the game. So until next time, we'll see you on the other side.
Peace.
Hold on, there's a button here. Where is it?
Thanks for listening. You can find us on Twitter at Freelancer Codex, on Facebook at Freelancer Codex, or through email at freelancercodex@gmail.com. Join the Discord through the link provided at freelancercodex.com. Our show will always be free, but if you'd like to send some support, you may do so at patreon.com/freelancercodex. Our individual Twitter handles are at Stephen Lamson, at mlamson25, at Neverfear, and at JD the Joke Dealer. Freelancers, it's time to get to work.